Thank you, thank you. Now we're going to be a little teachy this afternoon, so get out some paper. A little teachy this afternoon. Last session wanted to be a little teachy. Like Philemon is the book right after Titus. Philemon 6 and 7. Okay, Philemon 6 and 7 says that the communication of thy faith may be effectual by the acknowledging of every good thing which is in you in Christ Jesus. Now what that says right there is that he's saying to Philemon, Paul is saying to Philemon, he said, I want your faith to show to other people. He said that by the actual acknowledgement of good things which is in you. So he said there are good things in you that I want other people to see. Then verse 7, for we have great joy and consolation in thy life because the bowels, now you know the bowels, when they use the bowels in the word bowels in the Bible, they're talking about the innermost part of them, almost like we'd say heart. That the bowels of the saints are refreshed by thee, brother. Now, ladies, what I'd like to see us happen is that we'd go away from here refreshing our homes and our churches. Now, unfortunately, the teenagers might not relate to this very much, but I didn't care. I want you to hear it anyway because there's things in here you can learn. But mostly, I'm trying to help those of you that are older than teenagers, because I want you to go home and refresh the people you're around. I want them to be around you and feel like, she's like a breath of fresh air. She's like something that really encourages me and makes me feel better. Now, the only way that you can do that is if you learn how to deal with three things in your life: stress, health, and weight. Oh, you hate that word, don't you? Oh, yes. Stress, health, and weight. So I'm going to give you some things that I wish I'd learned 10 years ago. I'm 46. I wish I'd learned it at 36. I think I'd have a better time right now if I'd learned these things. See, stress is the body's non-specific response to any demand made upon it. I've read a couple books on stress because I said, I've got to learn how to deal with stress. See, stress is only stress according to your response to it. See, you can be, I got to get this out, but it only demands on you when you allow it to. It's a response thing. Stress is only stress. The threat to your health is not in the stress itself, but your reaction to it. And so bad stress makes you tired, makes you distracted, anxious. Oh, I know something bad's going to happen. I just know it. You're always thinking about all the things that could happen 3 years from now and the next week and all this. It makes you confused. Almost like you got Alzheimer's, I'm confused. And it makes you very upset. Now, do you think you could be refreshing when you're under stress? No. And that is because you have allowed outside influences to make you react in a certain way. Then good stress can cause excitement. Oh, I'm excited. This is great. This is wonderful. They've stressed us up a little bit this weekend by all the fun things they've had going on with the presents and with the games and all this stuff. That was good stress. That wasn't bad because it just made excitement for you and a sharp mind. Now, this is what I want to talk to you about is I'd like to see us all start working on stress and health and weight. Only because if you'll start working on it now, you can be a refreshing person when you go home. That's the whole goal of this, is to make you a refreshing person. Now, let me be a little candid with you right now. I am right in the midst of menopause. You say, wow, you're only 46. Oh, no, we didn't start it. I'm sorry, I forgot. I was going to... Jeannie, did you sneak over and start it? Oh, you are so good, you little darling. I'm right in the midst of menopause. Now you say, I've heard all these things about menopause. And menopause is not a bad thing if you know how to deal with it and work with it. And if you're not in menopause now, that's great. And maybe you'll never even have a hard time with menopause. But if you would listen to these things, I think any of these things that I'm going to give you that I have read, I've probably read, I can't even tell you how many books I've read on women's health and menopause and all this to try to help me to be a better me. Because I decided when I started this 6 years ago, I started menopause 6 years ago in August, and I was going to turn 40 in October. So I started in this. And how I know I started, started getting migraines, very, very bad migraine headaches. And they were, scheduled. There were things that come periodically. And I knew they were hormonal associated with hormones. Now, you know how you can know you're in menopause? You're ready to sell your home heating system. You know why? Because of hot flashes, right? You know what? How you know you're in menopause? You put Post-it notes around with the kids' names all over the house so you can remember what their kids' names are. You know how you know you're in menopause? You change your underwear every time you sneeze. Yeah. You know how you're in menopause? Your friends compliment you on your new alligator shoes and you're barefooted. All the wrinkles, you know. Oh, this is a bad one. I don't know if I should say this with the teenagers. I'll do it anyway. Going braless pulls your wrinkles out of your face. You know you're in menopause if slow down is said by the doctor instead of the police. You know, he's trying to get you to slow down. Then you know you're in menopause if you getting a little action means you don't need to take fiber today. Yeah, you know, joke. Anyway, so menopause is not something we need to be afraid of, but it's something we need to know it's going to happen to us. You know, now some people don't react. I find as I've been traveling and talking to people, women's health is a major issue in most of our lives. And 10 years ago, if somebody would have sat me down and said, if you'll do this, Loretta, it will help you, I would have done those things, and I think I would have had a much better time. See, I chose not to go with the chemical way to make myself feel better. I feel like the chemical way, what it does is it takes care of the symptoms and not the problem. Okay? And now if you do go with a chemical, I'm not upset with you, and if it works for you, see, I'm not here to say this is the only way. I'm just saying this is what has helped me, and I'm teaching it now because I've had to work so hard at it. I have been to 7 different doctors in these 6 years. We've spent hundreds and thousands of dollars trying to, you know, I put it on credit cards, and then we had to make payments on it to pay it off because we don't have that kind of insurance. But you know what? It meant something to me to find a doctor that would help me. And so I'm going to teach on this and give you some supplements and things like that might help you to get through this. And if you aren't in menopause right now, will you take notes? Will you start doing it now so that you don't have to be a 46-year-old woman having these kind of problems? Okay? If you have fatigue, back problems, frequent headaches, stomach problems, weight fluctuations, you know, you can overnight you can gain 5 pounds. You ever notice that? Depression, being witchy. Do you know what witchy is? Nobody can please you. And I have witchy moments, don't I, Jeannie Mae? You can shake your head. Yes, I do. And that's terrible. I hate myself during this time. You talking about feeling guilty? I could really feel guilty about this. But I just know there's nothing I'm doing everything I possibly can do to fix my hormonal swings and my witchy times. And I just try to get control of it. And I'm going to teach you something to do with that. Okay, now I'm going to start telling you about the supplements. Before I start telling you, I'm going to show you 2 things that my husband and I use. See, one of the things that I find people do is they buy vitamins, then they don't use them. Anybody relate to that? I've got vitamins, all kinds of vitamins all over my house, but I never use them. That's because you have not developed an organized way to be able to make sure you take them. I have this little 7-day pack. Now, this is what works for me personally. What I do is every week I sit down and I put all my vitamins in this little 7-day pack, and then every day I just get up and take all these vitamins right here for each day. And that's how I make sure and get my supplements in. You do realize that we don't eat the foods that we need, and it doesn't give our body the vitamins and minerals that we need. Now, from all the books I've read, I'm going to give you all the vitamins that I read that they say we need as women. A good B-complex vitamin. We need 1,000 milligrams of calcium, and just like we need 1,000 milligrams of calcium, we need 500 milligrams of magnesium. Now, something interesting that I've learned through all these reading these books is magnesium is a relaxant. And when you take magnesium, you probably should, if you need it, you should take it at night because it relaxes you. Magnesium's a good one to take at night. With the magnesium, you need a little potassium, because that helps your body to use the magnesium in the right way. Vitamin E, you need that for good health of your skin, and 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. Has anybody here ever had cysts on your ovaries? Cysts are, they say from the books I read that they're from stress. That's what everything I read says, that cysts on ovaries are caused by stress. I've had them several times. When I was a teenager in college, I had them removed surgically. Now I know what I can do. 2 years ago, I woke up with a terrible pain in my side. I thought it was appendicitis, like 2 in the morning in Parkersburg, West Virginia, and Kevin had to take me to the emergency room. While I was there, they found out I had some kind of infection in my kidney, but that's not what happened. That's not why I'm telling you about this. But they found also that I had a cyst. They said a very large cyst on my ovary. And so when I heard about that, I called my doctor at that time, and I said, now they say I got a cyst on my ovary. He said, what should I do about that? I thought maybe he'd say, go get surgery, get rid of it right away. And he said, take bromelain, B-R-O-M-E-L-A-I-N-E, B-R-O-M-E-L-A-I-N-E. So he said, take that and it'll shrink your cysts. So immediately I started taking it, but that was in April. I didn't go to any kind of a regular gyno or anything like that to check them out because until we had time off. In December, I finally had time, so I went to a regular gynecologist, and he did an ultrasound. And he said, ma'am, you don't have a big enough cyst to worry about. It had shrunk so little. I just wanted to check it out. Paid a couple $100 to check it out, make sure it was gone, and it really was gone. So if you have a problem with cysts, that bromelain would probably be something really good. Evidently, bromelain is a vitamin that helps fight infections down in there and causing those things. Okay? So those are the vitamins that I have learned that I should have been taking 10 years ago. That I started 6 years ago, but I should have started maybe even in early 30s. Then I'm going to give you a phone number, Swanson's, S-W-A-N S-O-N-S, Swanson's. And the phone number is 800-437-4148. 800-437-4148. The vitamin companies don't have to be 100%. The Food and Drug Administration, they only make them have 30% of the actual thing in it. Like vitamin E in most of your stores, if it says 300 milligrams of vitamin E, it only has to have 30% of that, and the Food and Drug Administration says it's okay. Did you know that? So many times we get cheap vitamins, or in dime stores and all that stuff, and they really don't have what they say they have in them. So I've gone to a better brand names of vitamins. What I use is phytopharmaca, but you don't have to use that, But in this Swanson's catalog has a lot of brand name vitamins, but they're half the price. Like in a regular, I heard you all have a good health food store around here. What you would pay like $17, $18 for, you can get for $11 out of Swanson's. So you say, vitamins are too expensive, I can't afford them. You could if you ordered them and got them through this company that I'm talking about. Now, the second phone number I want to give you is 800-927-4227. 800-927-4227. Now, I've told you that I chose to go. Now, I went to 2 different regular doctors. The first one said, what I had is problems with my blood pressure. I was like, my blood pressure at one point was 90/50. That's hardly alive. Do you know that? And they said, some people have low blood pressure. That's what the first doctor told me. Well, as soon as you hear something from a doctor that they don't really care. They don't want to dig to try to find the problem. You got to keep going to another doctor, and you almost feel like a hypochondriac. Even when I say I've been to 7 different, I am a person that hardly even paid attention to myself before and my health. And now all of a sudden I've got to go to 7 different doctors. I'm thinking, oh, brother, where does all this come from? So that first doctor told me that. So I contacted another doctor, and that doctor started doing what they call saliva tests, because they think with your hormones, saliva tests are more accurate. Now, that's a controversy. Some people say no, some people say yes. The current doctor I'm going to now, he uses both saliva and blood tests, and urine. He uses all 3. So you got to find a doctor that wants to dig to try to help you. Some of them doctors, you know how they are. You're just like cattle. You come in, what do you want? 5 minutes into it, and then they send you out the door. You know what I mean? It's not like they care, and it's not like they're just there for the money. But you got to find somebody. If you really are having problems with your hormones, if you are having mood swings that make you witchy, you need to do something about it. Don't say, I'm just this way. No, you don't have to be this way. You know what? Before you lose your husband, why don't you do something about this? Before you lose your family, do something about it. So this 800 number, the last one I gave you, is an organization called IALP. IALP. Now, what they are is they're a group that's an association of natural pharmacies. And what I've been doing all across the country is when a lady comes to talk to me and she's having mood swing problems or hormone problems or whatever it is, whatever kind of problems that she needs some help with. Now, I'm not talking about, if you have a chronic illness, I'm not talking about any of those kind of things like lupus or any of those things. I'm not talking about that. I'm just trying to help you with your stress level and with your hormones. But you call this phone number, and that tells you of natural pharmacies in your area. What that means is you call and you say, I am at zip code number 25401, which is Martinsburg, West Virginia, and they'll give you a list of pharmacies that deal with natural hormone replacement in your area. Then you call that pharmacy, and then you say, what doctors prescribe natural hormones with you? And maybe that's a way you can find a doctor that'll help you. Now listen, I've been to 4 different natural doctors. Now, one of the doctors went out of business, so that's not his fault. But it was just sometimes you just got to work till you find the right doctor that you feel comfortable with and will help you. My last doctor, Dr. Njakubi, he's a big black man. He's from probably, one of those foreign countries because he talks really distinct like this, I walked in after I made an appointment after the wreck because I knew I'd been under so much stress. I figured I knew everything was all haywire, and it still is haywire. So I walked in to his office, and he said, Loretta, how are you today? And because I usually go bouncing in there, And I said, well, Doc, I've had a wreck. We lost our truck and trailer, and I came to see you because I thought maybe I needed to do something. He said, wait. He walked out of the office. He comes walking back in with a box of tissues. He sat down. He put the tissues down. He said, tell me about it. And so this is a true story. So I told him all about it, Now he said, listen, he said, you need help to get through this hard time. So he gave me some free samples of some of these antidepressant drugs that are in the, on the market now. And he said, you take these for a few weeks and it will help you get back to your bubbly self. And I said, oh, thank you very much, So, and then he said, let me give you a hug. And so he hugged me. Don't tell my husband. I've never told him that, He's my doctor. I guess he thinks he can hug me. I don't know. But anyway, he hugged me. I wasn't crying or anything like that, but he just thought I'd be so heartbroken. So I walked out the door and I looked at those pills and I said, this would help me get through this. But how can I stand up in front of all these women? Because what happens is those depressant pills, all they do is take care of the symptom. I'm not fixing the problem. So I said, if I take care of the symptom of, I don't even know if I've been depressed. I just know I've been feeling really stressed out. If I take care of the symptom of the whatever it is that's going on and my anxiousness and nervousness and all that stuff, then I still am going to have the problem and I'm not going to be able to fix it because it's going to still be out of whack. So I said, I don't think I'm going to do that. So I didn't take those. Now, if you're on those kind of pills, I'm not up here saying you shouldn't. Everybody, you know what? You've got to stand before God and answer for what you do. So you decide what you need to do. I have just chosen to make sure and take care of my problems instead of my symptoms. That's the whole thing about that. I'm not against them. And if you need them, it'd be better than you killing your kids and screaming at them and making them feel like they're stupid and can't do anything right. So there are some relaxation vitamins. Valerian root and St. John's wort. Valerian root smells awful. Oh, you open the lid and it just about kills you. I didn't tell you this. This is my husband's way of doing vitamins. It's one of these big things you get at Walmart, and it's got it instead of, how it is opening all those bottles? So he's got it all organized. I forgot to show you this. He's got it all organized like this, of all the pills that he takes, and then how many he needs to take each day is written up here. And that's how he does his vitamins. So find a way to make sure you take your vitamins. If you get these supplements, you get real big, I'm going to go home and fix my health, and I'm going to call Swanson's in order to go online and get all these pills, and then they sit in your medicine cabinet. That's not going to do us any good. We need you to take them and really let them help you. Now, that was point number 1, is learn what supplements and vitamins you need. Point number 2, this is a big one, is learn to take mini vacation. You know what that means? Learn how to lighten up the atmosphere of your home. Be fun. Some of you are just too serious. You're too intense. You're too driven with your goals of life. You need to lighten up the atmosphere of your home. That might mean you need to get rid of the mess and clutter. Do you know that mess and clutter makes you feel really nervous? It can. Some of you just need to go home and do a real good Cleaning. You know what that means by cleaning? It means get you a garbage bag. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Just dump it all in garbage bags. Take it, put it on the garbage, and say goodbye, good luck. You know, that's what you need to do. Some of you are such savers. I mean, I've been in houses. As a missionary, we've seen lots of houses. They're stacked high with all kinds of neat little junk. And you know what? You don't like the dust, so then the junk sits there with 2 inches of dust all over it. And it's terrible. It makes you feel depressed, doesn't it? Am I with you? That stresses y'all out. Just get rid of that junk. You know, we are so blessed in America with abundancy of everything. But when those things are making you feel bad because it's all messy, that's not good things. Just get rid of it. You say, boy, my husband's not going to like it if I get rid of it. I'm not meaning get rid of your husband. I mean get rid of the stuff in there that's making you feel like you're all cluttered and messy. You'd be surprised if you went home and cleaned out your refrigerator how good you'd feel. You know? It might give you a new outlook on life. See, Mrs. John R. Rice used to come to Howells Anderson College, and when she came there, you know what she said depression was? She said depression is your body screaming for work. She thought work was the cure for depression. So you say, but I'm too tired. You know what happens to us? One of the books that I read talked about fatigue. And it said that when you get in the afternoon, you're all in the lull right now, aren't you? You're feeling like that food's in there working on my stomach and it's trying to digest the food. I'm going to have you do something for me. Stand up. Now you're going to walk in place while I do the next few minutes of talk. Okay, walk. Just walk. If you have bad knees, bad back, or just a bad attitude, don't do it. But if you want to walk a little bit, now walk like this. Now, what I read in those books, Miss Marcia, is when you've had a sufficient sleep. Now, maybe 4 or 5 hours is not sufficient sleep, but if you're getting tired and your mind's getting sleepy and you want to go to sleep, that book said, it guaranteed that if you take a 20-minute walk, get up out of the house, go take a 20-minute brisk walk, it said that you would no longer be sleepy. Can you believe that? It said that. Because it says what happens when you start walking, you breathe harder. And when you breathe harder, you take in more oxygen, and the oxygen goes up to your brain, and it wakes up your brain. Did you understand this? I got to stop walking. I got to stop walking, or I won't be able to talk because I will get out of breath. So y'all keep walking, though. It's good for you because I see you're getting sleepy. All right, now, so get rid of the clutter and mess. You know what? Just sometimes you just need to have just some kind of crazy thing going on in your house. You know what we did one night? Jeannie knows these are all true stories. One time, my KW had a T-shirt on. They sleep in T-shirts and shorts, or T-shirts and long pants, sweatpants. Thank you. And KW had a hole in his, so Kevin just grabbed a hold of it one time and just ripped it off. So the next night, Kevin put on a T-shirt. Dad put on a T-shirt that had a hole in it. And I got the kids over, and I said, listen. I said, we need to attack. You know, it takes all of us to attack the dad. You know that, right? So all of us, we went after him, and we grabbed hold of that T-shirt, and we ripped it in pieces. Oh, it was just great fun. And, you know, the kids, you know, that is a great memory for them. And you know what happened is they felt like, oh, this is not such a bad life traveling around the country. You know, you can sit down. I know you're dead tired. Some of you stopped walking. You said, I'm too tired to walk anymore. Okay, so do something weird. One time, we used to... Sometimes I'd get the kids and we'd put wires in their. I took a hair. My daughter's got that real long hair. We took clothes. What's that wire? Clothes hanger. A clothes hanger. That wire, you know. A clothes hanger, and we took it and I put it in her hair and dressed her up like Pippi Longstocking. You know, just put freckles on it. Little Joe, he's terrible. He likes to put girls' clothes on. Now he's not weird, I don't think, but what he does is he likes to make people laugh. So I've put, you know, some of my clothes on him, put earrings on him, you know, and he'll prance around like he's a woman, you know, and we'll just all laugh at him. And it's just for fun. I'm not worried that he's going to be gay. I'm not worried. He doesn't really like to do it, but he don't mind doing it if you'll laugh at him. He just likes the attention of laughing at him. So lighten up your atmosphere. Have a surprise treat. You know what, ladies? I have favorite things I know my kids enjoy. Jeannie Mae, without a doubt, it's frozen Cokes. You know what those things are? You go to 7-Elevens, you don't have 7-Elevens right here. Where do you have frozen Cokes around here? Do you know what they are? Burger King? McDonald's has them too? Walmart? Anyway, they're ices. I guess some people call them ices, and she likes them. They're Coke kind. And when I'm just trying to lighten up, I've been real intense. Sometimes when I've been downright mean with her, yes, I said, Jeannie, I need to go get you a frozen Coke, don't I? And she said, that'd be nice, Mom. 79 cents, I think they are. You know, just a small one because she doesn't need the calories. I think those things taste like flat Coke. Do you know what I mean by flat Coke, you know? But she likes them, and that's all that matters. So I'll give them a surprise treat. Sometimes I'll go in and I'll bring in a half-gallon of ice cream. Now, the boys, oh, they are ice cream aholics. I mean, they love ice cream, you know. We'll just get ice cream out and have ice cream. You need a surprise treat. You need to lighten up the atmosphere of your home. You need to go home and refresh your homes. You need to go home and be a different woman. How? By not being so goal-oriented. There's times when that trailer is a big, fat mess. We've been in meetings all day long. I straighten up enough mess so that we have a place to sit down, and we sit down and play a game. You just need to play with them. Those kids need to see that mom is not just such a tyrant. But you know what? To be able to do that, you've got to be you've got to feel good, don't you? So that's why you have to have those vitamins. That's why that's the first point. You know, another thing I didn't tell you is that if you don't drink enough water in a day, you will get dehydrated, and you don't even know it. I went to a doctor Tuesday of this week, and he said, "You're dehydrated." I said, "I am?" He said, "Yeah." He does some kind of voodoo. No, it's not voodoo. It was a chiropractor, and he could tell I was dehydrated. And I said, "You know what? I think I have cut up. I have stopped drinking as much water as I needed to." And one of the doctors, see, I just keep telling you all these things everybody told me, is they said you should drink half your weight in ounces of water. Like if you weigh 130 pounds, you should drink how much? 65 ounces of water a day. Now, that's more reasonable to me than this 8 ounces junk. You know what I mean? And that same doctor said, you know what I do? I get up in the morning, and I drink 2 glasses of water right then. That makes sense. See, you got to find a way to do it. Some people say, I don't like drinking water. You know what? Make it ice cold. Whatever you have to do to make it so that you will drink water, because anytime you read about fatigue, you know one of the big causes of fatigue is lack of water, dehydration. So, I forgot to tell you that on that. So, I wanted you to know that. So, lighten up the atmosphere. Have mini vacation. You know, you're the social director of the home, and you're the one that's supposed to inspire all this fun. Okay? Break the routine in some way. You know, and if you're going to do homeschool, go homeschool outside. Have the kids do school outside. Maybe have a little break, and they can chew gum while they're doing school. Find a way to make it different. Be fun. When you're working around the house, put some good music on that's pretty fast, fast, not the slow stuff, that makes you go to sleep, but some upbeat kind of music, gospel music's what I mean, and work around the house playing, and then have goals. Say, okay, kids, let's clean up the house, and in 15 minutes we have this amount of done. Let's sit down and have a Coke together. Do things. Doesn't that sound more fun than saying, okay, we got to get this work done around the house, and as soon as you get it done, the faster you get it done, the sooner we'll get to play. Now, that's a bad attitude. That is not refreshing. That's not going to make those kids feel, woo, that my mom's the greatest mom in all the world. Nope, they'll think she is a witch. I don't think any of y'all want your kids to not like you. And you know what's so good about kids? Right now, in these last 6 years, my personality has changed so much. I've had such hard times. I've not been myself so much. And I take time to apologize to my kids for it. But you know what? Because I have worked so hard at being fun, because I have worked so hard at mini vacation, because I have worked so hard at loving them and showing them that I love them, giving them the security of love, they really easily forgive me. If you have a kid that starts being rebellious towards you, the attitude might have been caused. I told the teenagers last night, I think God's got a great sense of humor, because most of the time he gives menopausal women teenagers. And these teenagers are having just a hard time. Teenagers need magnesium. They need calcium, magnesium. They need a lot of these vitamins. It wouldn't hurt for them to start on them right then, because if they're having trouble with their cycles, they need something to help regulate them, make them more normal. So, have many vacations. Number 3, third point, is the Bible. Oh, you knew that was coming sometime or another from Loretta Walker, because I really believe my salvation, my sanity, if I have any sanity, has come because of my relationship with the Word of God. Now, what I have here with me is one of my tests, one of my saliva tests that I took. Let's see, when did I take it? 7/15/2003. Okay, I took this last year, And what it did is it told me all these levels. This is that new doctor I went to, and he took this new test. And it's got all these levels, and some of them were low. My adrenals, as a result of my hormones being so messed up, my thyroid doesn't work right anymore, and I have to take Armour Thyroid, which is a natural, it gives me a pick-me-up on my thyroid, and my adrenals have been messed up because I kept pushing on. You know, fight or flight? Is that how you say it, fight or flight? I usually say it wrong. Fight or flight, that's what the adrenals do. And so this told me all this. But when we got to this one, which is called the serotonin level. Anybody here medically minded? What's the serotonin level? Anybody know? That's your depression level. Good. You smart woman. You get an A for today. Oh, you're a nurse. Oh, good. Okay, the serotonin level is the level, right, like that? Well, normal for me would have been 175 to 225. That's what normal would have been. Got it? 175 to 225. You know what my serotonin level was then? 680. I was not depressed. The doctor looked at me and said, well, you certainly aren't depressed. I said, no, sir, I'm not. And he said, you should be with all your levels so messed up, because my estrogen was so messed up. It took me quite a while to get my estrogen at the right level. And my progesterone was messed up. And then another thing I had to get him to give me is testosterone. Do you know what testosterone is? It's the male hormone that helps you be the right kind of wife. If you've lost the desire to be the right kind of wife, you might need a little testosterone. I don't know. I can't say. But I just know you need to really work at all those things. So anyway, my serotonin level was 680. You know what that means? That means I wasn't depressed. Do you know what I give the credit to? The Bible. Because I have tried to be a very, very consistent student of the Word of God. You know, after the wreck, I got this Bible. It was cheaper to get hardbound instead of the leatherbound. Because I said, I need something new. When I start over my Bible reading schedule in August. That's just how I always have done it. So I said, I need something new this year. So I got me a new keyword Bible study. And man, it's got all these good notes in it and it helps me read it. You know, you need to make the Bible interesting to yourself. If it's old hat to you, you need to find a new way to read it. That's why my husband in his Bible and prayer journal has 3 different plans. It's got a very easy plan for those people that have never, ever been in the Bible. It goes from 10 to 15 verse increments. That's easy reading, the milk of the word parts of the Bible. And then he's got an intermediate plan with 3 chapters a day. And then he's got another one that's got more advanced, like 6 to 8 chapters a day. See, you just need to find what fits you and just make sure you stay in the Bible. It'll make the difference. It might help your serotonin level like it did me. Number 4. This is going to help you with your weight. Learn the right diet for you. You know, there's the diet of the... Are you a member of the Diet of the Month Club? Yes, you relate to this. You know what? We don't really need to learn how to diet. We need to learn what right foods are for us. In my situation, I've learned that I need to watch carbohydrates. I take about 75 carbohydrates a day. I try to when I'm in the right mind. Because that's what helped me really to balance my hormone system. So whatever it is, if it's low carbs, if it's low fat, if it's just, and you know what? Part of learning the right diet is number 5 is exercise. You know, we think we're so busy with housework and all that, but every book, I read about 3 books on exercise because I thought I need to work on something. I'm trying to inspire myself to get healthier. And so I read 3 books on exercise, and every book that I read said that just, you know, average housework does not get the the heartbeat's up to where it needs to be, where you actually get a workout and you actually are doing the kind of exercise that's good for you. I always thought it did. You know, I thought vacuuming might do it or something like that. But really, it says you need to consistently do some type of an exercise for about 20 minutes or more and get your heart rate up. Now, I don't always do this, but this is what I try to do. I try to walk for a mile 3 times a week. Now, I can do a mile in average walking in 20 minutes. You know, you could do that, couldn't you? You say, I don't have time. You don't have time not to. It will affect your fatigue level. It really will. It'll make you feel like I can face this. See, I'm tired of seeing women grouchy. You know, this morning I talked about that, and I thought, you know what, some of the reason why they're grouchy is because they don't feel good. We push and we push and we push and we exhaust our adrenals, and then we say, what's the matter with me? Well, you know what? There's something physically wrong with you. And if you don't know what it is, you need to go find a doctor that can help you. And if that doctor won't help you, then you go find another one. And then you go find another. And you just keep looking until you find the one that's going to help you. Don't give up. Don't give in. Try to get some help so that you can go home and be refreshing. I've just tried to give you these points to try to help you to go home and be a different woman. We've talked about a lot of things, Miss Marcia, haven't we? Man, that sermon by Brother Shear that challenged us all to watch our lives and how clean we are so that we won't be like Lot's wife, and try not to be selfish. This morning we talked about unhappy, content, or satisfied. You know, it'd be just great if everybody went walking around saying great things about this meeting. Tomorrow morning you walk in the church and say, I love this church. You know, I was in a church in Delaware, Ohio. If I heard it once, Mrs. Shear, if I heard it once, I probably heard it a dozen times. Women come up to me and say, I just love my church. Do you know how secure that makes me feel when I come visit your church and you say, I just love my church? You might think I feel funny about saying that. No, my preacher's wife and my preacher, they're the best. That is great. That's positive. That's wonderful. That's healthy. You should go home and refresh your church by walking around saying positive things. When you get around Sister Flapjaws, you know who Sister Flapjaws is? The one that wants to put down everything that's going on in the church? When you get around her, you just say, well, I don't know why you feel that way, because I just love my church. You know what? She's not going to come around you very much. She'll get the hint that she needs to stay away from you. See, I want you to go home and refresh. And the way you can do it is by working on these things that you've been taught during these meetings. I hope you've taken lots of notes. I hope that this thing about the stress and weight and health and all that will help you. And I know, Miss Marcia, I'm not actually pushing any programs, but I know that Miss Marcia has found great health and success in Weight Watchers and their plan. It doesn't matter what it is. And really, it's not a diet anymore to you, is it? It's a way of life, right? See, what it does is those of you that have not eaten right all your life, it's a way to learn how to eat right. You need somebody to teach you, to direct you, to help you. That's what Weight Watchers does. You get a book, there's low-carb book in the Christian Womanhood paper advertised. Get that and try to help you know how to watch it. Get you a little carb. If your carbs is your problem, get you a little carb counter and carry it in your book, in your purse, and really study them and find out what's good carbs and what's bad carbs. You know, we're too busy, aren't we? Is that how you feel? Loretta, you don't know my schedule. I know my schedule. And I know how I have to work so hard at Bible, prayer, exercise, vitamins. I have to carry in my purse my pills, so I'll make sure to remember them. I have a little thing by my bed at night. I just pick them up and put them in my mouth, and I swallow them. My husband always takes water to bed with him, and take his water and take it, because I forget it. I get in bed, and I don't want to get out of bed again and take that pill, so I do it that way. Do you understand? I care about you. I don't think you're bad, but I don't think you're refreshing your homes and your churches like you should. So, and I'm not going to squall at you and fuss at you. You know what I'm going to say? Work on it. Go home and try to make a difference in your own life, because then you will be able to do what you're supposed to do for God and for good. Father, thank you so much for these good ladies. I pray with all my heart, Lord, that they've learned something that'll help them for eternity. Lord, will you help them to see what they need to do, and then, Lord, help them have the character to do it. Now, with your heads bowed and your eyes closed, is there anybody here you say, Loretta, I'm going to make a decision right now that I am going to try. Hear the word try. I am going to try to work on my hormone levels and find some help with that. Some way or another, vitamins, whatever one of these things. Anybody like that? You need help with your hormone levels, and you're witchy, and you need to work on that. Anybody like that? Wonderful. Thank you for your hands. Anybody here you say, Loretta, I need to learn how to be a refreshing person. And I'm going to lighten up the atmosphere of my home and get some things going to make it fun and make it not be so regimental and scheduled and a place where the kids don't enjoy. Anybody like that? Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, anybody here you say, now, I don't want you to even raise your hand. I just want you to make that decision in your heart. Loretta, I'm going to go to somebody and get some help with my weight. Don't raise your hand. I don't want to know. And I'm not even looking to think anybody needs help. It's up to you and God. I don't really look at people and try to decide that. Okay? Anybody here and you say, Loretta, I just need to put in practice this about being in my Bible every day. I've slacked up a little bit and I need to get in the Bible more. Anybody like that? Wonderful. Thank you. Lord, please bless these ladies and help them to do it now. In Jesus' name. Now with your heads